Polestar 2 sedan, or maybe let's call it a pseudo hatchback, is a little bit of a conundrum for me. There are some things about this vehicle that I absolutely love, and then there are some things I'm really not crazy about. If you're interested in finding out what those are, then please stick around. And forgive me, but most of this video might be done in this car because it is really raining. Southern California. That's how dedicated we are.
The Polestar 2 comes in either single or dual motor configurations. The base rear-wheel drive long-range model has a starting price of $51,300. For the all-wheel drive model, you're looking at $56,700. You can lease the Polestar 2, and that does qualify you for an $8,500 clean vehicle tax credit. Not so if you buy, as this car is not made in the United States.
The expectation of that money is that you are going to be getting a lot for it. Now, let's start out with some of the things where I think the Polestar 2 actually rises to the occasion.
Since Polestar is a performance brand, yes, they were a racing company that used to be the performance arm of Volvo, the expectation is for sporty. In that way, the Polestar 2 didn't disappoint me. The single motor model makes 295 horsepower, but with the dual motor version, the one that I'm driving, that makes 416, and I love it.
If you add the performance pack to that, you're looking at 449, not bad. The number that I'm really actually very interested and impressed with is this, the torque number, 546, and it's all instant. Oh, holy smokes. Okay, that is significant, you feel it, and I'm here for it, even in the rain.
The car handles turns like a pro. I've got all-wheel drive here to help me with grip, yes, even in this Southern California rain. The low center of gravity, because, well, sedan, really makes the car feel super stable and secure. This is definitely a car that you could take up into the canyons and have a lot of fun on wide sweepers and exploding out of tight corners, and not just taking it on your everyday commute. Incidentally, this is a fun tidbit. The single motor car used to be front-wheel drive, but they have since switched that to become rear-wheel drive. Yes, a performance brand through and through.
If you are looking for a luxurious and sort of like soft, floaty, comfortable ride, do not look here because you're not gonna find it. The suspension on this is firm, it feels very sporty, but make sure that if you are getting into this sedan and you are looking at buying it, that you know exactly what it is that you're in for.
The brakes don't give you a supernatural feel, but they more than do their job. I have upgraded ceramic Brembo stoppers on this dual motor model, and they feel firm and solid. There is no doubt of their abilities. You can adjust the regen mode from off to full. There is one step in between. The one-pedal drive setting works well. I've had it on for almost my entire time in the car, and it's really easy to get used to. Overall, the Polestar 2 offers up a true driver's car feel. It's taut, it feels aggressive, and sport-focused.
But things have started to go a little bit sideways for Polestar, as they have just announced recently that they are laying off 15% of their workforce. They're not making their production deadlines. Volvo, which was a big stakeholder in the company, has just pulled out of their investment. And that's a little bit tricky. I'm wondering if coming out to market for their first real sort of volume car with something that is performance-minded and a sedan, those aren't really volume propositions. Yes, the Polestar 3 and 4 are coming out. Those are more crossovers and slightly bigger cars, but at this point, I'm kind of wondering if it's going to be too little too late, but I am rooting for them.
So as much as I like how this car drives, it feels as though they focus so much on the driving dynamics that they may have lost a little bit with the other bits of the car, meaning the interior and specifically for me, the UX system. Yes, there's a lovely 12.3-inch screen, but the operating system, I hate to say this, might be my least favorite I've tested in a long time. The graphics look great, but it's a little bit complex. There's no home shortcut, but there's this like 4-button thing which sort of takes you to all of your apps. And that's it. Finding things once you go into a deep dive, well, it isn't the most intuitive process.
This really is set up as a Google or Android car, and I am not one of those people. So I had to literally go out of my way when I first got into this car by like 20 minutes to go pick up a USB-C cord. Yes, I'm a little bit behind the times. I did not have one, but that's the only one they've got here, so that I could hook up Apple CarPlay, because the rest of this stuff was just making me nuts. Of course, there's wireless charging, but there's no wireless CarPlay, so you've got to deal with this. There's really no other spot to put your phone. This just doesn't really work. So if I wanted to use Apple Maps or any of those other things, like I had to be here. It's just a little bit of a hot mess situation, at least as far as I'm concerned.
On other cars, if I'm not super used to the UX system, I can prop my phone up with my maps somewhere. But here there's just nowhere, which is a good thing for not looking at the phone, but bad when you don't have your smartphone connected. It will help you find charging stations quickly and what kind of a charge you'll get there, so that's great. And you can even watch YouTube videos. The screen did glitch out for a second, but hey, subscribe to the KBB YouTube channel and you can watch all of our videos while you're sitting in your Polestar 2. Win-win. Once I got Apple CarPlay squared away, things improved a little. I used adaptive cruise control with the lane keeping assist, but there were a couple of times when I was traveling in the carpool lane at speed. When I was going around a curve on a highway, the sensors read the cars in the right lane next to me as being in front of me. The car started to stop pretty aggressively and would have been kind of a dangerous situation had I not intervened.
Another thing is, and this happens a lot on Los Angeles freeways because they're constantly doing construction, the system started reading the seams in the road as lane markers. That's not the case. Sometimes the lane markers, the paint actually goes across the seams. So as far as the adaptive cruise control goes, this one is not one of my favorites. One other thing that I noticed that really irritated me, this does not telescope. There's nothing that blocks the sun from coming in here. And that really teed me off. This is a $50,000 car. You should have a telescoping visor. Come on, do better.
And when you've got this wide open roof, which yes, is gorgeous and makes it feel as though the outside has come in, if it's hot, you've got no respite from it. They're not the only ones who do this on the EV side of things, but I'm going to complain about all of them.
Getting to climate control is a little bit complicated. You have to press this button and then you can kind of go to auto or you can go to off. I've tried to keep it on auto and it doesn't seem to keep or maintain the temperature. And then you have to go back to here and then back to here. So it's layered. This is not a whole lot of simplicity, at least, again, in my opinion.
Okay, something that I don't mind. There's only one cup holder in the center console. Well, the other one is hidden in the armrest, so if someone drives with me, they're using the one on the door, because I'm using that armrest. And I'm actually okay with it because I rarely drive with other people. But if you've normally got more people in the car, this might be irritating. There are some cubbies on either side of the console for smaller items, but no drinks in there. I am a fan of the interior design. The dash is simple, but they use great textures, materials, and color to make it interesting. The seats, I love the seats. These are Napa leather and both heated and ventilated. Those come as options. And you guys don't get me started on yellow seatbelts. This is just the coolest thing ever. When it comes to room in here, it's great. I've got plenty up front, and in the back, same goes, even though it's a small car. But quick question, this is an EV. There's a transmission tunnel in here. Again, things are not ideal. Cargo space is not whopping. There's 14 cubic feet of it, and you've got a separator that will kind of keep things organized for you. There's another cubic foot up front in the tiny frunk, and you've got a little situation underneath the load-in floor. You can definitely put groceries in here or some luggage if you're headed out for a longer road trip.
The Polestar 2 single motor gets a range of about 325 miles, depending on how you drive. For the dual motor, you're looking at more like 276, I think I've gotten it a little higher because I'm sort of trying to be really careful. That is with 19-inch wheels. Those are the wheels that come standard. But if you do opt for the larger 20-inch wheels, you are going to lose some range, about 10 to 15 miles of range, depending on which model you get. So again, just know what you're getting into when you order that option.
This system can fast charge up to 205 kilowatts. To charge, you're looking at a dead 0 to 80% in about 40 minutes. There are safety features included, like the adaptive cruise control I told you about, emergency braking with pedestrian detection, and blind spot monitoring. And you do get a limited warranty for 50,000 miles, with electrical components being covered for either 8 years or 100,000 miles, whichever comes first.
Of course, there are other manufacturers out there that are making vehicles with similar range, similar power. Maybe the European guys are a little bit more expensive, but all of these manufacturers are a little bit more established than Polestar, and they're making more than one model, so you got something to choose from.
I'm specifically thinking about the Tesla Model 3, Ioniq 6, Kia EV6, the BMW i4, the Volvo XC40 Recharge, and the Mercedes-Benz EQE sedan.
If you're hoping to trade your vehicle in for a new car, the Polestar 2 or anything else, click on the link above. Kelley Blue Book can help you figure out what your car is worth.
One more thing I'm going to put in the win column, and that is that I love how this car looks. Yeah, it's simple, but the details on it, in my opinion, are terrific. I love the taillight design. I always know what it is. The profile looks like it's got some classic sedan appeal, lots of vintage Volvo in there, and the colors that they choose are rich and beautiful. This is by far, to me, one of the prettiest sedans out on the road today.
This particular example that I'm testing comes in at around $64,000. Do I think it's worth it? Don't ask me that. Look, there are a lot of things that I really love about this car, but there are also some things that would 100% prevent me from buying it. But it's not really my sort of subjective gripes that are important. What's really important is, do you love the car? And if you are looking for a performance-minded sedan, then yeah, I would say by all means put this on your list. But if you are looking for an EV that has a little bit more kind of variety or utility, I probably would point you in a different direction.
Are you deciding between the 2024 Toyota Grand Highlander and the 2024 Kia Telluride? Hey, we can help. Let's see how those two compare right now.
Right now, in the car. That's pretty cool.